here you go. Go. Good? That's a big fish.
Full hand on tail, yeah, looks sick.
Look how broad that thing is.
What if I was on the full medium?
Beautiful. Oh my, that's a big fish. Flip! That's what I've been waiting for all day. That's over 6. Oh. That's a good fish. Donkey. That's a heavy spot. Oh my God, please get the net. Please get the net. I got you, buddy.
That was the weirdest one ever. There you go. What the? Oh yeah, he's got another 4.5.
Oh my God, this might be it. If I can land this fish. Holy sh! 5.06. She's thick. Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy sh! What a beast. Dude, that's it. Oh, I'm 4 pounds small. I need a picture. Oh wow. That might be a 4. That might be a 4. Yeah, it's a 4. You guys show that off to 4 pounds, 12 ounces. Holy. Trailer just getting that. Yeah? Yeah. Dude, that's unbelievable.
He's still swimming. What happened to Mick?
Yup. 5.3. Sorry for freaking out. My first fish of the year. There we go. That's a big fish. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes! 4.14 though. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back. Real Northern Bass Talk every Friday. It's not Friday, it's Wednesday. It's been a long week. It feels like Friday already. Holy God. You should have seen how many times I screwed up the story I posted. And in the end, I still ended up screwing up saying Bass and Beers podcast at Bass and Brews. Like I recorded it, shared it everywhere, and then I saw friggin' Alex had responded, and I'm looking at him like, I think I said the wrong thing. And I went back to the story. I'm like, son of a...
Listen, I get it. I get it, man. It's tough. You're such a big show. It's tough to remember us little guys and our names. Like, I totally get that. Like, we're just the little folks over here doing our thing. I totally get it.
Oh, who do we got in the chat? We got G. Hayes, Gordy, MD, Sean, hey friend, Josh, David, Dave, little Tommy, Rug, Trader, Northeast Bass Fishing. Hey, welcome back again, buddy. Bob, Ben Bradley, of course, Mr. Swamp Rat Fishing, our co-host here tonight, Alex. Lizard, Joe, hello, and Ryan. We got the 2 Miller boys in here. We got Miller and Miller Lite. Oh, dude, it's Joe.
Joe,
Joe, we haven't seen you in a minute.
Joe's the man on Bass and Brews. We get that guy on the show, and it's just it really elevates our show because it actually has somebody who knows what they're doing, unlike me and my co-host.
He definitely knows.
Yeah,
Joe knows what's up. And Adam, Kevin. So let's jump into it a little earlier than we usually do. We usually give it a few minutes for everybody to kind of come on in, but there's already 40 of you here. That's good enough. So let's roll forward.
Hey, drop a like, everyone. Jeez.
Yeah, what is this?
We're
We're at 7, and there's 40 of you. This math doesn't add up. Come on, help us out. You know how it goes. For anybody that's new here, thank you very much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate the support, as always. Do us a favor, drop a like on the stream. It helps more than you know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Turn on post notifications. You never miss anything. Although, even though I don't upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like Wednesday is always happens. There's always a live stream. And it's Monday and or Fridays that we get other videos up. I will have this past Sunday's trip up for this Friday. So there'll be that. I have another video idea I want to do for Monday. And with any luck, if everything goes well, you getting ready to pick that thing up? Nope. Oh, fix the cable. With any luck, Sunday we'll have at least something's gonna happen, whether it's a good day of fishing or not. Then we'll have something that I'll be able to post up on. Well, I have an idea for like one of those more structured videos. Hold. No, you give me that one. You get the other
No,
one.
I'm just holding it.
Okay, and
It's small.
it'll be good. But we have some stuff that we're gonna be able to play with this weekend as well. Just a quick little teaser. So this is like what I typically catch in the tournament, and then in comes Andrew to save the day. That's the upgrade we're doing to the front of the boat. I'm going from
Holy
the
cow.
HDS Gen 3 9
To the HDS 16
live.
which is oh boy.
It legitimately looks like what one of our typical like tournament calls.
Yeah, we need a screen protector.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping Steve has one when I drop it off.
If not, get some piece of Expel.
Ooh,
Paul.
is that like shatterproof though? Probably not.
You ain't gonna break anything with that.
Anyway,
Maybe.
so
Yeah.
I drop my boat off tomorrow morning to Bass Fishing Electronics in Auburn, New Hampshire. My buddy Steve over there, we've had him on the show twice. He's doing the install along with Brian, is one of his main coworkers, and I know he's got another guy there, but I can't remember what his name is, and I apologize for that. But yeah, Bass Fishing Electronics is doing the install for me. They're taking the 9 off. Well, I mean, it's already off, but they're going to move stuff around, put the 16 on, run C-Clear wire harnesses, both to my live, and I'm going to have them run it for my Mega 360 as well, because I got some power issues going on. And then, yeah, we'll be able to play with it on Sunday, which I'm very excited about. I don't care where I got to go. I don't care what the weather does. I'm going out in my boat Sunday or Saturday. It doesn't matter.
Joe, is Andrew on a new diet or workout program? Looking good, buddy.
Sean is doing, look at these.
Dude, it's snowmobile season at work, and I gotta literally like muscle those things around all day long.
Oh, God.
Because a lot of them don't run, and I gotta pull them across the warehouse by myself. So.
Built different. Don't forget the hashtag.
Ooh, actually, check this out.
Oh, wait, what? What? Oh, you got one of those like heating pad wraps for your lower
yeah.
back?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you were on straight old man mode. You show everybody.
I needed it today.
Go ahead, show them.
Literally.
Oh, I meant like stand up and be like,
Dude, I'm with you, man. Listen. I woke up this morning with the worst back pain for no other reason than I guess that I'm old now. And I couldn't figure out why I didn't do anything strenuous. Just woke up with back pain.
I'll tell you, before we get in the show, a little digression here. I go to a chiropractor once every week to 2 weeks. And I've been doing it for, for years. Because I blew out my back. I strained it at the gym like 10 years ago. And then 2 days later, I did a tournament on Winnipesaukee with my buddy. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, Alex, but it's our biggest lake. The boat traffic is insane, and it could be like literally zero wind, dead calm, and there will be 3-foot washing machine chop covering the like almost the entire lake.
It's disgusting.
And just that ride back, because we crossed from one end of the lake to the other, it destroyed my back to the point where for like 2 years I couldn't even reach my feet to dry them off after I got out of the shower. It was bad. We have another guest
Every
here.
day.
But chiropractor fixed it, so we're good.
Nice.
Jabberhammer has joined us, the other half of Bass and Brews podcast.
And he will. So, yes, you were right. The name is fitting. we got off the stream at 10:30, and I think we stayed up till midnight.
Oh, I see. I told you
Wasn't
guys.
quite
I
midnight.
told you boys. That name
Wasn't
is
midnight.
the most fitting name for him. He's a jabber.
That's why podcasts work well for me. You have to be able to be articulate and pretty ruggedly handsome, and I've got both of those locked down.
You have 0 of those. You literally have 0. You're not articulate. I thought I had to text Jabberhammer at some point because the comments he was putting on social media sounded like he was having a seizure. None of the words made sense. They were all mixed up. And then he just put like, if you know, you know. Like, that's not no. Like, speak English, and definitely not good looking.
Well,
You gotta
all right,
thinking
you went
faster than you type.
you went the other direction. I thought you were going to talk about the gibberish that comes out, but that is not all my fault. The technology people with these phones on text to talk need to do a better job at taking a southern drawl, because it's a shame sometimes what they think I'm saying.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, your timing was perfect because I was about 30 seconds away from introducing or allowing Alex to introduce you guys. But now we don't have to do it twice. Now you're both here. So before we get into the whole formal show, go ahead, Alex, Paul, introduce yourselves to our viewers here. The floor is yours.
Yeah,
You
so
start,
we
Alex.
are,
So
I
I'm
will
Paul.
start. Thank you. No, stop. I will start, Paul. I will start. Listen, this is someone else's show. All right, this is mixed company. We cannot have this dysfunction in front of everybody. All right, Paul. So anyways, I'm Alex. He's Paul. We both run, as I slam the mic with my arm. We both run the Bass and Brews Fishing Podcast. We are kind of like most other podcasts, but not really. We're a little more vulgar, a little more not safe for work. Sean's already told us we have to be on our best behavior today, and we will attempt to do that.
I hope y'all have that NFL delay.
Yeah. No, we center on. We do a lot of kayak fishing interviews, tournament interviews. The big thing that we kind of center on, though, would be the content creators. We're there to let your big content creators and your small content creators in the fishing realm come on to our show and tell their story. And that's kind of what we do. And we do it. It's very lighthearted. It's very much Paul's going to give a synopsis, and it has to deal with a campfire or some other Southern. See, I almost swore right there. Some other Southern stuff. So I'll let Paul take over on that point.
The way that the folks that we have on that have never listened to the podcast, or the way that I describe it to people is we're just having a conversation. So we're sitting around a campfire, drinking, talking, shooting the dookie, and that's it. I mean, it's that kind of interaction that we want to have, laid back, having a good time, talking fishing, and just talking, hearing your story. Our podcast isn't our podcast, our guest podcast, and we want them to tell their story, their journey, and they lead us to wherever we go. It's nothing scripted except for the last little bit, but the guests, we want the guests to lead our podcast.
It was a lot of fun.
It really was. It's absolutely one of the most fun podcasts I've done in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. We like, if you don't have a good time, then there ain't no use in doing it.
It's very true. So where can they find
awesome
you
to hear.
guys for everything?
Yeah. So you can find us on all major podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Your old granny, as Andrew likes to make sure people know. If your old granny has a tin can line, she's probably listening to it while she's hanging out with Andrew. But you can also find us on the Swamp Rat Fishing YouTube channel. We're in the process. We're going to be merging everything over, but right now it's over there. So that's Swamp Rat Fishing. You can just search that up. You can find us there. But I think the big thing is, like, Spotify for us is probably key because you can watch the video version of the podcast and the audio version all in one on Spotify. So, and you can find us on TikTok, all that other stuff, all the socials. We're there. We're really not on Instagram. We're pretty TikTok heavy because we're hip and we're in the know with the kids. We know what's bussin'.
As the kids say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Straight fire.
I think that bussin' word is about 10 years old, but Joe with the out of round just talked about if it ain't bass, it better be ha-has, because that's probably one of the top 3 clips in Bass and Brews history. If y'all go listen to that episode, he's very proud of it, as he should be.
Absolutely. Your mom's in the chat.
Yeah, my mom is in the chat.
Hi, Carla.
Hey, Mom. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, Carla.
Hey.
Your son has got some awesome stories, Carla.
She's like, no.
Yeah, she doesn't want to hear any of them.
Who else is jumping in the chat? Catch a Mo Fish. Hey, buddy. Thanks for stopping in from New York. Hey, wait. You're up there with Ryan Miller. We got 2 New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Nyack. That's actually a town. Nyak. I don't know how you actually pronounce it. I'm not even joking.
What?
It's a town in New York. Nyak. Nyack. It almost sounds like a really, really weird way of saying New York. Nyack. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but I'm not even kidding.
That sounds like how the Coneheads would pronounce it.
Beautiful. Did either of you fish this past weekend?
Oh.
No.
Yes, I did.
You did? All right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, guests can go first. What we like to do every once in a while, and especially now, I think most of our viewers at this point have either put the boats away or they're getting near to it. But we're trying to stay up to date with the weekend fishing report. And granted, I'm not sure how many people from here are fishing anywhere near where you are down south there, but you never know. So give us your weekend fishing report. You don't have to tell us where you were. You don't have to name the lake. We always just go over, like what you found for water temp, what you were seeing for, conditions moving around and stuff. All that good stuff. Give people an idea as to what they can look for while they're out there.
Wonderful. I was on Sharon Harris down here in North Carolina. And this time of year, Sharon Harris is blade baiting. That's the bite. That's what most people are doing. Vertical jigging it, and 15 to 20 foot of water. Our water temps right now are they're getting down there, probably about 54 degrees. Maybe after today, no ice yet. We'll probably see that in a million years from now when it actually gets cold enough to ice over. But no, we're vertical jigging. Start throwing some A-rigs, soaking some drop shots. But I suck at the blade bait in the wintertime. And I went out, met up with a couple guys and that do it a lot. And matter of fact, one of them caught a 7.5 pounder the weekend before.
Jeez.
But we were on about day 7 or 8 of clouds. And so it was, the fish are spread out. Just wasn't a good bite Saturday. It was beautiful. It had a little bit of chop on the water. It was cloudy. It'd been semi-warm leading up to it. I thought they were going to be biting, but I bring out the bad luck and fish biting. But I didn't catch any. They caught a few. They didn't even do well. As that the bite here, that bite typically picks up between 10 and 2 in the wintertime for us as well. I had to leave about 10:30, but they didn't end up doing as well. It's winter fishing for us down here. It'll get a little bit colder. Our temps will get down to 45. It might get a little bit lower February, but right now we can still find them. Yeah, right now we can still find them shallow as well. I got a buddy that wore them out on Jordan Lake throwing square bill and A-rig on rip wrap 3 days ago. Matter of fact, he caught a 7-pounder and a couple fours. So it's that's it. I mean, just go out there and take that stupid little metal fish and the most boring fishing ever. I mean, I got ADHD and I'm impatient and it's tough. I suck at it. But I got Spotlight this year, so maybe I'll suck at it and not have to pedal as much.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, my conditions were way different. I had 75-degree water, probably a little bit more, crystal clear. This is as I was looking at the fish at PetSmart because it's really, really cold in New Jersey. I know some people go out, but I fish by a kayak, so I'm waiting for a little warmer of a day, and the tides were jacked up, so I didn't. So I looked at fish. I was imagining every single one of those little beta fish to be bass, and
it is the
jig rod.
Sir, you can't do that. I'm trying
a
to
little
pick
ice
one
rod in there. A little ice fishing rod, so it ain't so big.
Actually, Saturday night we had my work Christmas party. It was a Yankee swap, and I got a couple T-shirts that were funny. And one of the guys came up, and he's like, "Hey, I'll trade you my gift for one of those T-shirts." I'm like, "What's your gift?" He's like, "It's a Barbie rod." So I forgot it on Sunday, but
that's funny.
Totally gonna use it.
yeah.
We've got Queen City is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Huge grassroots club, averaged 125 anglers this past year, local. But they 2 years ago they had a Barbie Superman kitty rod tournament, and that's all you could take. I think you could have 2 or 3, but that was it. That's what you fish with some kitty rods. That was a good time. The other thing I was going to say is real quick.
Yep.
It is so sad to get to see all of my northern friends start posting the pictures of them putting their boats up and taking their kayaks and putting them up on the wall and the ceiling. And I'm like, why would you post something this sad? We want to have a good time here. That is just, it's heartbreaking to me. And I really feel for y'all.
No, you don't, Paul. No, you don't, Paul. Shut up.
No, he's a liar.
He's a liar.
Well, it goes from we have, I don't know, we're trying not to put the boat away this year, but it's probably going to be,
Might be a
say,
couple weeks.
3 to 4 weeks that we're going to have to.
The last 2 winters we only went 6 weeks not fishing the boat. And last winter would have been a lot shorter had I not caught COVID, because there was still plenty of open water to be found. But usually when we're talking middle of the winter, why we can't fish is out of that 6-week window. Last year, I think there was like maybe 3 out of the 4 weeks we definitively couldn't have gone anyway. I can only fish Sundays. My wife works in the evenings, and she works most of Saturdays. I got 2 young kids. So Sunday is my only day. And I would say 3 out of the 4 weeks that when I was feeling better, we could have gone. We either got a major snowstorm down in Cape Cod area, and anywhere else there was open water further south of us, like in that area, or it was snowing the day of we could have gone, or it was like hellishly high winds, and that's really what keeps most people off this time of the year. More than anything, it's the wind that we get.
Yeah.
Fishing out in 25-degree weather is not enjoyable, but doable. Fishing out in 25-degree weather with 30-mile-an-hour winds, now you're just straight stupid.
Mm-hmm. And we do that.
And we did that. But
We're stupid.
it is, I mean, it's a hell of a lot easier when you're in a bass boat. You know, you've got all the heavy gear, but you can move around a lot more easily. We got the buddy heater with us. So, like my FXR gear, well, both of us with our FXR gear, it's all insulated. It's ice fishing gear. So we can stay nice and toasty warm in pretty much any conditions. I do need slightly better boots. Like, I've got some really good, like late fall to about now time of the year for like my DCs that work pretty well. But now, like when we were out there Sunday, my feet were getting pretty cold, even with little foot warmers inside. So I got to find something a little bit more rugged for like right now.
Yeah, I had to take my boots off, like put them literally up to the buddy heater inside, like warm up, and like have my foot up next to it, like.
I went out like 2 weeks ago, and I had like the full bibs, the full deal, and to stay warm. And I'll tell you what, being in a kayak, normally I'll fish during the winter, but I'll skip out on really bad days. This is a bad day, so I layered up completely. All that really good gear, and the stuff I was wearing was like ice gear that I had purchased. Not that I'm an ice fish, but I was like, let's be super layered. That has no ventilation for farts.
No, it doesn't. No, they linger. They come back about 20 minutes later.
As soon as
you
you
But in a
move, you'll
kayak, because the way that you're bent in a kayak, as soon as you start pedaling, it pushes up through the front, and
It comes in waves.
hypothermia sounded better than the wah-wah chili farts that were lingering up through it.
Hey, I told y'all this about your feet. The problem with people's feet getting cold isn't the shoes or anything like that. When you put all that crap in your boots, your feet sweat. And so they're going to get cold. That's why I fish in Crocs with no socks. It can be
stop.
15 degrees down here.
Stop.
And I'm
Paul,
Crocs,
Paul,
no
stop.
socks.
Paul, you fish with
true.
Crocs and no socks because you live in North Carolina. Shut up. Shut up.
Hey, it still gets to be 15 degrees down here. I'm out there in the same
For
thing.
like
The
a
water's
day.
warmer.
No.
what?
For like a day, you look at the forecast, you're like, damn, it's going to be 15 out this weekend.
It's
May as well hang it up
15.
for about 3 days.
It's
I don't
15
really feel like
degrees when
pulling
he
out
goes
a
into the
big pair of
cooler
boots,
at
so I'll
Sheets.
throw the Crocs back on.
No, see, y'all got
Put them in
skewed.
4 low, good to go.
Y'all are skewed. That thing with kayaks, so if you don't have a motor, you warm up pretty quick when you got to pedal your big hiney all over the lake. I mean it. And apparently I'm one leg pedaling for Sean.
That would suck because, like,
I don't think
pedaling
Sean
your ass
remembers
off
when
and
he
start
made
sweating
fun of
and you
him.
gotta
Oh, I did.
Spot lock and sit there and then freeze your balls off.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No.
Real quick, Alec, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you. He's a new
hey.
channel member. Pond Hopper status.
Cool.
Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you. On the topic of cold water, I did see a comment. I don't want to go too far from it. There it is. It was MD. My issue fishing in the cold is my hands. I haven't found a solution for that. Fingers always freeze. 3 things. So I have my entire life had problems with keeping my hands and feet warm. I don't know why, but it's just always been an issue. My favorite gloves are the Cabela's Guideware Infinium fingerless gloves, I think is what they are. It looks like a gauntlet, and only like just a little bit beyond the last knuckle is exposed, and they're like very, very lightly insulated on the inside. It's almost like a fleece lining or like felt or something. It's like halfway between the two. So not insulated, but they're Gore-Tex, so they keep the water and the wind off. And I put one of those mega-sized hand warmers in each pocket, and I'll cast, and I'll put one hand in my pocket and work the rod, and then I'll switch hands. I'll just keep alternating pockets until it gets to a point where it's like, okay, especially if the wind's up, that only goes so far. That's where the buddy heater of the boat comes out.
Some summer's heat.
Hey, real quick, Sean, did you say gauntlet?
I did.
Are you like a big medieval times guy? I've never
I don't
heard
know why.
anybody describe gloves as a gauntlet. That's
Because they come up like farther. I forget. I swear to
That's
God.
what it's called, is a gauntlet. When it goes like a normal glove that ends here, and then you have the gauntlet that goes up and over. It's supposed to go up and over your jacket.
It's called a
snowboarding,
gauntlet?
So
Gauntlet glove, yeah. It's a Northeast thing, maybe. I don't know. It's just a snowboard glove thing. But that's what I remember. I remember getting my first pair of snowboard gauntlet gloves, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, no more snow up the
I always
freaking
like the
sleeve.
mittens.
I couldn't do the mittens. I need the
mittens.
dexterity. I need to
still a
feel my
child.
jazz hands.
I've used gloves when it was cold once, and every reel I had looked like a rat had built a nest in it, and so never again. I could not cast. I mean, I got all mine are really, the weights are off, so I do a lot of thumbing. It was a disaster. I can't do it. I'm not a good enough angler to do it.
So I do a lot of ice fishing, and when I'm out there, I usually don't even have gloves on at all the entire time. This year, I think I'm going to buy some gloves because since the end of last year into this year, my hands, something's wrong with them. There is like no circulation in them anymore,
Something wrong with you.
and my toes are getting worse, but not as bad as my hands. Like they're literally just kind of like discolored and weird now. But
It's called old age.
Yeah.
I'm 32. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's
Well,
old, man.
you're
As soon as you
aging
hit the wrong
poorly.
age, the wrong side of 30.
almost
Yeah,
a
I'm
grandpa
not
at this point.
Carla, thank you very, very much for the donation. By the way, your mom is a
Thanks, Mom.
saint.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the buddy heater, MD, that's like your best bet. We get to a point where it's like, okay, I literally can't feel my fingertips anymore. I take a 3-minute break, fire up the buddy heater, and by that point, like, I'm warm back to the bones. Like that has been by far the single best investment that we have made while being out in the water. I mean,
have 3 of
insulated
them.
bibs and jacket is great, but what'd you say?
We have 3 of them.
We do.
I've always seen like heaters where they attach to the side of a kayak. I don't know if your listeners, if any of them kayak.
A lot
I've
of
got
them do.
some. Okay, so I've got some questions for your listeners. Like, are you not concerned that the heat coming off of that heater is going to melt your boat? Like,
Oh my
I'm in a
gosh.
kayak and I'm concerned. No, like, to be honest, because of where it's at, that you could get some warping in that area is what I would be concerned about.
On a kayak?
Yeah, because I've seen them where they're rail mounted, right? So the gunnels, they'll have like a rail down the side, and they'll throw like a big heater on the side of it that runs off of a battery, and that thing's like blasting. And I would be concerned that would start messing with the actual plastic on the kayak
I
itself.
feel like it would be more like worse for your whatever clothes you're wearing.
I mean that too, right? Yeah. I mean, you're instantly gonna melt where your legs at right there.
If you got a bunch of wool on, just go poof, look like
Yeah.
a candle lighting up. Well, Alex, if you bought a Hobie, you wouldn't have to worry about a heater on your kayak melting your boat.
Sorry, I got thrown off on the chat. Hey,
Yeah,
just so
I
you
was
guys
able
know-
to grab that real fast.
Yes.
It's already gone.
Hey, just so you guys know, there's stuff going on the chat.
I just happened to be looking at the chat when that popped up, and I was like, yeah, and gone.
Keep going. I just want to read.
Go ahead.
I'll never get a Hobie, or I'm not gonna say that. Hobie's a decent boat for what it does. It's not as good as an Old Town.
We aren't
it
going to
fighting
take
words?
their podcast over with terrible arguments. So
And I mean, some
finger was
people
close.
like
Okay.
really expensive kayaks that can't go in reverse instantly, and some people like reasonably priced kayaks that can instantly go in reverse. So
Reverse is cool.
it's wonderful.
that boat.
Actually, reverse is probably bigger than most people think, especially in a kayak.
I bet.
Yeah, like setting into a fish and being able to Because you know what? Yeah, I mean, no matter what, when you set into that fish, you're going to lose so much of that hook set power just because of the
Because you're
movement.
pulling yourself into it.
Exactly.
can
But
back
now
yourself
that
out.
you can reverse into it and help pull that fish out of whatever cover it's in or anything else, you can do that in a Old Town. Pretty sure if you don't want to spend 10 grand, you can't do it in a Hobie.
I was watching
Well-
a video last night. Some dude was kayak fishing down in Florida on 7 Mile Bridge, and he tossed, I don't know what bait, whatever, but he hooked into like probably like a 50-pound grouper.
Mm.
And as soon as he hooked into it, it was pulling him straight into the bridge, and he's sitting there pedaling his ass off trying to get out of there.
Like,
still
it-
pulling him.
No.
It's become second nature. When I hook into a fish, I instantly go in reverse no matter what. And then I did some saltwater fishing, not last year, obviously, but the year before that. And it was like we were doing structure fishing off of a bridge for sheep's head and toe tog and all that and striper. And it was like you had to have an instant reverse to make that work. There's no way it was going to work with something that you had to like pull and all this other bullshit. Oh, sorry.
Well-
yes.
Well,
I'm
part of Alex's problem too is he's like 4'9", so he don't have no leverage anyway. So he
Hobbits
really
really
has
are
to
a
use
magical
has to use
creature.
it. Yeah, really has to use that reverse to get some leverage. You know,
This is what we're doing, Paul. This is what we're doing. We're in mixed company. This is our big shot where we're gonna hit the big time, and you're gonna get us canceled by the short community at this point.
well, our hosts are letting this go on, so I will.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
Everything's
walking up the mountain.
You are reminding me because Andrew's not short by any means. I'm 6'2". Our mutual friend that Andrew started fishing with us because of our mutual friend Josh. He's 6'2", and you're 5'11" and a half.
5'10".
5'10". Okay, sorry.
A half.
I was I gave you a little more credit. And it was a meme one of my friends sent me because he's also 6'2". It's like when you have one of your friends that's under 6 feet tall and it's Gandalf. It's like hobbits really are a special creature. So I texted it to him. And he was like, "Oh, F off." And I sent it to my buddy Josh. I'm like, "Quick, send this to Andrew."
If I was Andrew, I would have thrown down the gauntlet.
The extended fishing glove.
Here, put these gloves on.
And Joe LaBarbara, you're right. I'll put $1 in the swear jar. That's my bad.
Yeah, for every swear, $1 goes into the swear jar for my kids for the next little electric dirt bike thing.
Shit.
All right, y'all, let's get those kids those go-karts.
Do we even go over what we did this Sunday? I feel like we didn't.
We went fishing.
We did. It was cold.
Yeah.
All right, so water temps. We were in Central Mass. We were in Worcester. All right, fair enough. Shrewsbury, Worcester. You guys can probably figure out what lake we were at. It's not some secret place. It's not even a good place. And I never knew what this place was like until after we went and we shared a couple stories where we were out there and posted results, and quite a few guys were like, "Actually, you did pretty good out there. That place is not known for quality at all. The typical winning weights for that
Really?
place is 5 fish for 8 pounds, and one of them was a 5-pounder. So I was like, all right, I feel pretty good. I was talking to oh my god, I just forgot his name all of a sudden. That's bad. I was talking to him on Instagram the other day, and he was like, so we were talking about the pond we're supposed to go to.
Yeah.
First pond we went
Yeah,
to, we found out after we got there, it's a sign with a horsepower restriction. Normally I would just say screw it, but there was a ton of people around. I was like, We hemmed and hawed. We went to this other place. Our buddy Sharon met up with us because it's close to his house. And we only brought deep water gear, so that's why we ended up in this place. It went all right. We caught 5. Water was still 44 to 45 degrees. Bait was stacked everywhere and exactly you would expect to see it. Perch, yellow perch were on the bottom. White perch and crappie were all kind of suspended.
Oh god, there was so many of them.
Dude, it was stupid. It was stupid.
I caught 2 or 3 white perch. I think 2. One was small. One was pretty good size.
Yeah, and then you got the crappie.
And I caught a crappie. I was
And
just out there
then-
to catch pretty much whatever the hell wanted to eat because I just wanted to. I don't
Whatever
know.
wanted to eat the blade bait.
The blade bait.
You grinded that
Oh,
blade
man.
bait. I'm surprised there's any metal left on it by the time you were done with that. And so I picked up, our usual go-to thing. Literally the one thing we don't fully disclose what we throw. But bottom contact bait, it's a finesse thing. I ended up putting all 5 fish on
Oh,
the
it's
boat
the
on
Ned
that.
rig. That's what you're talking
It-
about, right?
it-
A lot of people don't know about that bait. Yeah.
Crap. There goes my secret.
We didn't even throw in that rig.
No, and it's funny because I was thinking about it afterwards. By the time I got home and almost didn't die, which by the way, when that snow moved in, it's
Oh.
an hour drive from ramp to driveway. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get home. And I almost got in an accident because some dumb idiot woman
Yeah, he
decided.
calls me. I'm like, hold on, I can't understand.
I
Use your words.
So I was supposed to even go, like, I went out and met the guy Brian I bought all the stuff from, and then, well, all right, hang on, I digress. Anyway, fishing. It's getting colder. Slow way the hell down. Find the bait, find the bass. Like, literally the only spots we got bit was around the bait fish. And we've said that 1,000 times, especially this time of the year. Like, if you're getting into yellow perch, odds are you're going to start getting into largemouth and smallmouth at some point in there, too, because they congregate together all the time. This has been, like, I don't know how many years in a row now, fishing this late in the season, and it's just like perch, largemouth, perch, smallmouth, and then it's just like nothing but bass after that. So if you're like locked in on a school of yellow perch, make small movements. Just move over like 100 feet or something, or just try to attack where, like, if you're specifically hitting a specific structure, hit it from a different angle, because that has worked for us almost every single time without fail. But, you know, if you're like in really deep water and you're just slaying a bunch of perch, there's a good chance there's a lot of smallmouth around. And if you move up a little bit shallower, then you can end up finding the largemouth more often than not. And all our fish came from like 25 to 40 feet. Your only bass was kind of small, but I think that was down like 40, 45 feet.
Yeah.
All the rest of there was like 25 to 30, actually, was kind of the magic
Which is
number.
funny because I caught that on, and it was just, it was all sand there. There was no structure besides.
The fact that the bank was like that steep.
But yeah. Besides that, yeah.
But and
Hey,
then that's the thing. What?
Are y'all's primary forage the yellow perch? Do y'all have alewives or any
There's
other type
alewives
of forage?
down.
There's
in
actually
Bass.
alewives in New Hampshire, too.
Is there?
Yeah,
Where?
Pawtuckaway.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
I think that's like the only pond though.
pretty much, yeah. Alewives are spread few and far between in the Northeast for the most part. Well, at least New England. I'm not really sure about New York.
Northeast,
Joe,
too.
you're here. You might be able to say.
Yeah.
Yellow perch and bluegill, black crappie, shiners, golden shiners, regular shiners. Like those are all like the biggest primary forages pretty much anywhere you go. Like you literally cannot go to a single body of water that doesn't have at least yellow perch and bluegill, I'm thinking.
And I'm in New
Sunfish,
Jersey,
whatever
so
you
you can also add diapers, car seats,
Different kind of
and
crappies.
needles. Yeah, crap it. Totally different. Brown crappies.
Those are some big bait fish that they're eating on. Y'all should be. I mean, I'm assuming that the bass probably look like footballs when you're catching them, right?
I will tell
Yeah.
you, there's a spot. I won't even tell you the state, but I'm sure some people that know us can figure out this one particular spot we fish fairly often. What was that smallmouth that I caught like 3 pounds and it spit up an 8-inch smelt?
Oh yeah.
The average size of smelt, which is another huge forage base for bass up here, but that's like primarily targeted by smallies. Their average size, at least in New Hampshire, is only like 3 to 5 inches. They don't get that big. And this thing that I've now seen 3 smelt out of this lake.
I
and
caught one.
the first one he
somehow.
caught was 7 inches, and that was stupid on a blade bait. We found a dead one earlier this year. That was another 7-inch one, and then I caught like a 3-pound smallmouth that coughed up an 8-inch smelt. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, no, dude, they don't mess around with the fish up here. The bass, like we had the guys from Swim Bait Scrutiny, another New Hampshire-based channel, on one day. We were talking about swim baits, and they were like, he's like, dude, they don't have mirrors down there. They don't know how big they are. They're just hungry. And they're apex predators, so it doesn't matter what size it is to them. They're just going to go after it.
I saw something Oliver actually posted the other day. Said something about someone said was a 16-inch bass
I saw that.
will
We'll
go
eat
after
10 inches or
8 or 10-inch bait.
Yep.
Something like that. That's like the threshold or whatever when
Yep.
they start actually feeding on like
themselves.
themselves really, yeah.
G. Hayes, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you. Another new channel member. Huzzah.
Joe LaBarbara, thank you very much.
So what's funny about bass and eating, I worked on a fish hatchery, so this how country I am. My first 2 periods of my senior year of high school were working at the local fish hatchery. And so I got to get up there and I would go super early. Guys got there early. But when the bass would breed and the fingerlings, when they go from fry to fingerlings, we'd seine them out and we'd have to go put them in the tanks. And when you're starting to seine them out of the tanks, you would run across a fish with 2 tails. and it's because they went head on, and the one with the bigger mouth won, but it wouldn't. It just got the head in there. But you'd find a bunch of them in there. They're savages. I mean, all they want to do is eat, and if they think they can, they're gonna try it.
Yep.
I got one question for you, Jabber.
What's up?
Where the hell's your fridge?
Oh yeah, that's a good call. No.
Of all the fucking things
no.
you do and
Wait,
don't
wait.
remember,
How did
of all
he-
the things, that's what you remember.
Hold on.
The one time we talked to them, there was a fridge behind one person you met the first time, and you're like, "Where's that fridge, bro?"
I have done
I replaced
the
it with
Bass
that.
and Brews podcast is almost 2 years. We hit 2 years in a couple months, right? And I don't recognize it. Andrew's on the show once, but you're right. Where is the fridge? Where is it, Paul?
I am trying to make a better place for me to podcast since I've got some more stuff. So I'm. This is a sore subject. I was screaming at my wife via text about this earlier.
Oh,
But
drip the
I
tea.
moved it
Spill the
because-
tea.
Because I've got I do. I've got a client of mine was throwing a desk away, so I'm going to confiscate that Friday, and I'm going to put it back there, and I'm going to try to make a professional studio like our guys right there hosting this show.
Are you gonna get rid of that crappy, disgusting green chair that you sit in your boxer
can't.
shorts
You can't.
during the summer?
This is a vintage 1970 something lazy boy. So never, because they have lifetime warranties, and it's comfy and it rocks good and it leans back good. I mean, there's been a time or two after Bass and Brews I might have fallen asleep in this thing.
And when you're
what I-
yelling,
So no, but
I got one more
to answer your
question.
question, the fridge is over there. I'll try to.
Oh,
you just moved it. All right.
is.
All right.
I got one more
Get rid of
question
the
too.
garage
So when you're
fridge.
yelling into your phone to talk to text, does it go automatically to caps?
No. Matter of fact, it looks like hieroglyphics, and a lot of times I'll hit send before I
It's just all
proofread it.
emojis.
And it's shameful. It is shameful. I'm trying not to cuss so bad. It is shameful. The stinky that it sends after I hit the send button. I'm like, oh Lord.
I'm gonna tell you what
Is that to a client?
I know we're just getting into this. We super appreciate you guys having us on the show. Man, I think this is the biggest test for me and Jabberhammer here is the non-cursing. And I've already broken it once.
You're
And
welcome.
Well, how we talked on your show is how we normally talk. So trust me, it's not easy for us either.
No, I slip up all the time.
all right,
Can't
so
help it.
just so you guys know, everybody watching this, if you guys want to hear how they really talk, head over to ours. And they dropped some of the foulest language.
It's how we talk on the boat
I did
too.
20 years in a seagoing service, and Sean specifically said things that made me blush. So make sure you guys head over there.
It
But
wasn't his
also, we
first
got a lot of knowledge. We got a lot of knowledge dropped in that podcast as well.
We did, but
that
we
was a
also
good
got
thing about
him
it.
making fun of your punter leg, so I was good with it.
I forgot about that. How's that doing?
I mean, it's still here.
Still girthy.
Still here.
Girthy. I can't
talking
swear,
about-
but you can
Are
say
you talking about my
girthy.
stomach or my leg at this point?
I like your shirt, by the way. When did you get a picture of yourself on your own T-shirt? That's nice.
So I didn't do this. This was a buddy of ours, Josh Hebner, up in Minnesota.
Yeah,
He
up
surprised
there in
me with
Minnesota,
this.
eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Up north.
Them Upers there.
Hold on, let's
He-
give him a plug
yeah.
properly here. But yeah, he ran a limited run of Paul's face with y'all look.
on his shirt. Hey, here's the crazy thing: people bought them and
A lot of people bought them. It's
and
insane.
posted this. So I'm kind of famous.
My
That's fantastic.
I was in California when this all happened, and I came back home. And now my youngest, she's 7 years old. That is now her new favorite night shirt to go to bed. So she'll put on that shirt with Paul's face, and she'll go, "Y'all look." And I was like, "What's that?" She goes, "Look, I'm Paul. Yo, look.
Alex has had to translate a lot of stuff to his daughters. They don't listen to the podcast, but they hear me talk and they'll be like, what did he say? So yeah, there's some translations
quick.
that go into.
The plug would be Hooked Up North. But yeah, Josh killed it with the shirt, and he's got the Wizco jigs going on. But yeah, the shirt is ridiculously hilarious. I think it's
I was surprised with it one night on a Hoodlum cast. I was the nicest thing anybody's ever done for me.
Hold on, I take offense to that. I gave you a platform, Paul. Nobody wanted you. I brought you onto my show.
All of it, numerous times, like every bit of it.
Yeah,
Here,
like you
were
the Alex Jones of bass fishing, and I brought you on.
Oh God, no. No.
I'm joking about that, folks. Sorry.
But yeah, folks missed out on the shirt, but I wear mine as much as I can. This makes me proud. I mean, it's hard to be this handsome and not be on some kind of clothing apparel.
You know what? There was a question I saw in the chat earlier, and like I don't know what the hell it was. It reminded me of it. I was like, I need to circle back on this. And this is a good question for you guys too, because obviously we can talk about the bass boat side, but for the kayak side, I'm curious to hear your answer on this from our buddy Cam. How do you organize your terminal tackle, and what boxes do you use for everything else? And how do you organize your soft plastic bags? Because I'm assuming that in a kayak, like you have to be very particular about what you're bringing because you're limited on storage space. And I'm curious if you do anything differently than what us bass boat guys does.
So I would say we're kind of similar. I know somebody got confused when they were on the show. These are not National Geographic issues. Andrew,
I wasn't listening. I was off.
He was reading the chat.
I was.
Those are not.
So,
anyways,
I run everything. I run the Plano Edge series for everything. I run my terminal off of that. And everything else, I have upgraded to their soft plastic box. I feel like it's a good fit to fit in the center, or I'm sorry, the front console of the Old Town kayak.
Oh, did you say National Geographic?
I hate you. No. I'm sorry. We were talking about grannies. Anyways,
back at grannies.
I'm gonna win every time, Andrew. I'm gonna win every time.
I'm gonna take that picture of your face where you're like, and I'm gonna do the same thing as his, where it's a silhouette, and it's gonna.
Did you see that
underneath it? Yes. Over the top, back alley, and underneath it, Granny Slayer.
Total side note: when I was going through your guys' Instagram to poach a photo, I saw that picture of Andrew. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna use for him. Of course, is this pouty cold face,
just grumpy all the time.
But yeah, that's what I use. I use these boxes. You're right. You have to be limited on how much you take. I think I can fit 5 3700 size Plano Egg Series boxes in my crate. And then I put soft plastics in the top of my crate, and then in the Plano Egg Series soft plastic holder in the front. And that's kind of how I organize it.
There you go.
Yeah.
What about you, Jabba?
I do a lot more tournament fishing than Alex, so I'll probably carry a good bit more than him. And my I'm chaotic. I have crap everywhere. But for the terminal tackle, I use one of the H2O thing. I started using it this year. I don't really like it. It's crap fault. I don't like it, but it was the best way to be able to fit it into my Hobie H crate. On the soft plastics, I got them in Ziploc bags, and I throw them up under my seat. And by the end of the day, they're floating around in the bottom of the kayak. But I just use Ziploc bags for my stuff. Now I do fish on boats a lot with buddies, fish some team tournaments, and then I go out with my guys on there. But it's the same thing. I had that terminal tackle. I put all of it in. If you buy lures, treble hook lures, especially that come in those little baggies, the little Ziploc baggies, they're real thick. So when I'm going out on that, I'll take all my terminal tackle and I'll put it in 2 or 3 of those, because I carry a little teeny sack. And then again, all my worms go in Ziploc bags, parted how they're in what they are. Yeah, something
Heck
like that. I've got one of those, but I'm cheap. I'm cheap when it comes to buying certain stuff, so I use the good old Aldi brand Ziploc bags.
I'm not, as the actual founder of the show, I funnel all of Bass and Brews money to buy these bags. So Paul gets nothing. He gets Ziploc bags he has to buy at Aldi, but I put them in that.
Aldi.
But and
But
terminal
Alex
tackle.
isn't telling you it takes us a year for him to buy one of those bags.
No
They're like
shit.
$7 a piece.
I will say for terminal tackle, I will use.
It keeps them lubed up. Big old stringy.
I
Nope.
might need to spend another $1.
Well, we tried to go legit. This is what happens.
That was Joe's fault, by the way.
Yep. It's always Joe's fault.
Anyways, it's always. Anyway, yeah. So
Paul keeps terminal tackle in a spittoon. Says Joe.
What
I
else?
don't even know how to recover at this point.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
Wait until you hear
You're
what I
done.
use for my soft plastics. It's a little known thing. It's like really high tech stuff. It's money, but I think you guys are gonna be impressed. But I make sure you guys are done before I move on.
There's one right there. Just grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you take a bag of your soft
Oh, I thought
plastics
we were
and
gonna
then you
see-
take all the
I
other
honestly-
ones and shove it in that one bag.
When Andrew
Used to do that.
got up,
You
I
just-
thought we were gonna see his lower back tattoo that he just put in. I'm really disappointed.
Oh,
Actually thinking of
yeah.
getting one.
Oh yeah, money. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sterilite 6-quart Clearview box with purple latches.
Yeah, look at him. He's got
$3.89
no,
a piece, boys.
Yep.
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 My man knows what's up. I leave all my plastics in the original bags because I don't want that salt and all that shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make one that's like twice as big as this that I put all my Kitex in. I have 3 of them just for Kitex. I have a problem. Well, it's not just Kitex. I have 2 just for Kitex, and then I have one more for like all my Beast Coast creeps and Miyagi's, and then I throw my working class citizens and stuff in there. Dude, these things for a bass boat are worth their weight in gold. And just as like a total, like, I'm sure this will work, not that we have any personal experience, if you somehow almost sink your boat and you need to bail out quickly.
Yeah, this we were talking about. This is what we were
makes
talking
an
about.
amazing emergency bucket. In theory,
Take the top
we
off.
know nothing about this from personal experience or anything. I'm just saying.
But if you want to hear the
Dual
story,
purpose.
go to the Bass and Brews podcast and listen to our show.
Oh, you guys did tell that story. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't told you guys that yet, I don't think.
Listen, everybody, if you want to see how Sean and Andrew actually are, like they're giving you the front-facing sonar of the world right now, which is bull.
I'll pick that thing back up. I want to show
I
you.
know. I got to fix it. I'm sorry. They are. They got sponsors. They're fancy. They can't even get our name right. And you
who the
come
hell are
on to
you?
our show. Right there, it is.
My heart.
Hold up the
I know.
9-inch underneath.
Put the 9-inch underneath it.
Or beside it.
Here I come.
Oh, yeah,
Look at that.
That's insane.
Look at the
Dude, put it
flex.
literally in front of the screen so we can see,
Look
like,
at the flex.
that's how much more real estate we're getting here, boys. Wait, where is the? There we go. Corner.
Can I move in?
So when fishing's bad, you just throw. Since you only fish on Sundays, you just throw some NFL on.
Right?
You got
One
a
of my
flat
buddies was
screen
like,
TV.
bro, we can Netflix and chill with that on your boat. It's like, what? No.
You selling it?
Yeah, actually, I am.
How much? I'll buy it.
I don't know, whatever fair value is. He was asking how much I'm selling the 9-inch for. Put that 9-inch underneath. That's what she said.
Hey, that's $1 in the swear jar, buddy.
Joe's on one tonight.
That's not a swear.
That's just adult humor. Kids can't understand adult humor as well as they can, like an F-bomb.
Oh, wait, you
right.
told me. Hold on. He told me no swearing. You can't.
That's all I said.
But you said the S word's okay.
Did I?
I don't know. You can.
What,
whatever.
stinky?
You just now said it.
Oh, well, that doesn't mean it's okay now, does it?
We're from New England. We lie a lot.
Look, this is their show. We have to abide by the rules on their show. They can do whatever they want.
You know, it's really funny. I talked to my wife, the world famous Amandy, on the Bass and Brews side. And I was like, she's like, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, I've got like a live stream podcast thing. And she goes, well, which one is it? I'm like, well, it's a live stream. And she's like, well, why isn't it a podcast? And I was like, yeah, that's a good question. But
because it's a lot of work.
It's not.
It's
not.
To...
We'll talk about that. It's not.
It's not. It had I started from the get go, but now I have 50 episodes that I need to go back through and get back
start
on there.
now. No, you just start now. It's not that hard. Come on, man. You just start now. You do like a rebrand, and you go like, hey. Right? Because you are changing.
Dude, I don't have that much time
name.
to rebrand. It's got to be the same goddamn thing across the board. Like, I'm taking
No,
this
you're
one
just
thing and it's
saying-
going everywhere.
All right, we're going way off the rails. You literally take the footage that you're doing now and you dump that into, and I can show you how. And we talked about it on DMs, right?
We
on
did.
Spotify. You just take this video, you drop it on it, bada bing, bada boom. All of a sudden,
2
you're the
clicks.
new Joe Rogan of gauntlets.
It is funny, though. You mentioned it because we talked.
Well, he does.
I signed up. That he does. And we and I went and signed right up, and I was going to do it, and we had recorded like an introduction because this is episode 90. And the first like 30 something episodes, the audio quality was just straight garbage. And there was a few episodes where like we had guests call in and the setup was bad. There's no other way to put it. There's no saving it. It was bad. And I wasn't going to put that on what is at the time it knew was just strictly an audio platform, right? But
Yeah.
now at least with Spotify, I can put video there too, so that kind of helps. But regardless, like, okay, I'm starting with episode 38, which is perfect because that was a cold weather fishing gear one. But we did this intro and I went and re-listened to it and I was like, well, okay, well, I said all the old channel name stuff and that's changing. Like I'm getting ready to make that push.
Yes.
Like very, 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 very soon here. And then so I was like, okay, well, crap, we have to redo that. And then like listen to other things we said. I was like, when the fuck did we record this thing? And I went back and listened. Dude, we recorded it in January of this year. So I'm like, okay, well, we put another like 50 episodes out since then.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, we got to re-record this intro. So like, it's like the icebreaker and then explain why like episode 2 is technically 38 and then it jumps to 41, but then it rolls from there. Cause I'm going to blast all those right out. Like I'm coming in hot until we get caught up to whatever is the most current one. I'm just going to start blasting them out.
for podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
just
that's
like taking
a
all
bad
the old
idea.
ones and dump them in.
No, man. I'm going to say that's a bad idea. People want to see you grow on it, right? They want to be part of the front end of something. This is you guys transitioning to a new brand, right? And they want to be on that cusp of joining that front end of it. So
Would it be
if
weird then if I said, keep going, sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
I said, would it be weird then if like we have the intro episode and then like episode 1 in parentheses 90 and then episode 2 parentheses
why do you
91?
have to put? Hold on. Why do you have to mention
'Cause
anything about episode 90?
I don't know, man,
The
'cause
podcast is different, right?
Yeah, but
I'm trying to tie in everything together.
Episode 1 of the podcast, it'd be just a completely different thing.
I want everything
Correct.
to be an extension. And like I want like YouTube to support Spotify and Spotify to support YouTube, like Instagram supports both and vice versa.
All right.
Now,
I'll say
granted, there's
some-
very little crossover, but there is still crossover. So I want to make sure that there's at least that connection and integration to an extent.
Okay, so there's crossover.
Hold on, let me talk, Alex.
Absolutely.
I agree
Paul.
with Sean. Do it, dump it all in there, and then start putting them out as you go. And if they want to catch up, then go catch up.
I would say
That's
you're
my opinion,
really
because
concerned.
that's going to be way easier. Alex is making you get a third.
You're
job.
really no, I'm not. So you already have a built-in. This is way off of fishing. This is what we talk about normally on our show, right? On Bass and Brews. Hey, shameless.
It's all
plug.
right.
I would say that when you start the podcast, right? So
Yep.
one, nobody cares about episodes, so don't put that in the title. Honestly, nobody gives a crap about what episode you're on. The
Okay,
more you
fair
put
enough.
on there, the more people are going to be like, this is daunting. Like you almost have to treat your podcast episode titles like your YouTube titles, where you're trying to hit SEO and all that other stuff. You got to treat it
Even
the
on
same way.
Spotify, it's that important.
Correct. Correct.
Oh, shit.
We don't do. So if you look, we did it for a little bit when Jabberhammer was in charge because he was just trying to keep us afloat. But if you've noticed in the last 3 months, we don't talk about episode number at all. It's on there because when you distribute these things, you can put the episode number. You don't have to talk about it in the title. You're wasting stuff on that. Put your SEO in the title and put it in the description. Like you don't like people don't care. And if anything, what people care about is they want to hit something on the ground floor, right? So you're transitioning from being on YouTube and doing this, and now you want to be in the podcast realm. Totally different animal, kind of a different beast in some way, right? But you can still do the exact same show, but do it out as like people are going to be with you. They're going to be ride or dies on that audio only format right away because you're starting out new, and you don't have to do again. I would stray away. I mean, maybe on YouTube, you're a lot bigger on YouTube than I am, or we are. But I would say on the podcasting side, nobody cares about what episode you're on. Nobody cares.
Enough.
You're wasting time with that.
So, okay. I definitely still need to start with some sort of, well, we need to start with some sort of explanation for like an icebreaker episode. And
why?
Probably because I'm literally taking this stream from YouTube, and that's what's going on Spotify. I'm not recording something unique for it. That's all it's
correct.
And I would like to just
so
be
why
able to
do you
have
need
that,
to do anything extra?
I just to have because I want to make that connection because it I don't know if I just put it out there and I don't explain that we're interacting with chat during an actual live stream, and that's where the audio comes from, that people might be like really confused, be like, okay, hold on, there's only 2 people. Who the fuck is he talking to now?
Not at all. You go, hey, from chat, they said this, and you already do that. I'm telling you right now, I've watched you run this show. You already cover all of it. This one should be your first one. Right away, send this thing out to Spotify right away because you cover it. You go, hey, user blah 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 said this, and you reference it, right? You don't have to do anything extra. Like everybody thinks that you have to. All right. So podcast. So a lot of folks listen to like Joe Rogan and some of these
It's
like
true,
crazy
though.
high-end stuff, right?
True.
So a lot of
Without
these
thinking his
folks
mouth.
listen to these like super high-end things, right? And they are great. And in the fishing realm, we have like Bass Talk Live, and they are awesome. And they are fantastic at what they do. And what they do is a very radio style show, right? That doesn't mean that's what you have to do. What you're doing right now 100% translates to the podcast realm.
Yeah. And that's literally, I mean, I had, I guess, loose plans to eventually go on like all the podcast platforms and stuff, but it wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't like concrete because I had no idea what that would entail. Forgetting that all done, put in all that effort and everything, not realizing how easy it was. But at the same time, I was trying to integrate with the website. So I was trying to just provide more avenues for people to listen to the live stream when they couldn't be here live. Because I had a lot of people, especially up front. And honestly, it's probably where a lot of like some of our lost viewers have been a result of. Because I kept saying, yeah, I'm working on it. So, you know, like people could be able to hear like one every 3 or 4 episodes to watch it live. Yeah. But they didn't really have a means of easily being able to listen to it after the fact. Because everything just, you know, goes live on YouTube right after the fact. It becomes its own separate upload technically. And so I was like, okay, you know, I'll get around to it eventually. It's coming. And yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said, though.
No, but honestly, like you drop that on the other end. So like we almost had to work backwards from where you guys are at, right? So we had to do the podcast first, and we did uploads on YouTube, and we did them as live streams like we're doing now. But we did them as like private live streams, and then we'd upload them when we uploaded the audio, right, at the same time. And we realized in this last like 3 months that that's not the right way to go for us, but the audio side is the best way to go for the shit. I had a little bit too much dad's pop. Let me figure this out. No. So what I'm saying is keep doing what you're doing, but upload what you're doing onto like Anchor Anchor is really the easiest to figure it out, right? Because you can go right onto Spotify and they'll send you everywhere else. But specifically, Spotify will send your video also. And you'll still get your normal viewers from your live stream because you engage with them. And that's awesome. That's the way you should do it, right? But then pick like the day after or 2 days after, not on a Friday, because that's when the internationally acclaimed Bass and Brews podcast releases.
I'll
Number
tell you
one
the
in the
biggest
Panama
thing,
Canal, not the region, just the canal.
just the canal.
Well,
I'll tell
hold
you-
on.
I'll tell
Why,
you from
I
my
mean, why you
experience-
gotta drill us? Like,
I'll tell
Just
you
repeat
from my
what you said.
experience. The podcast will just bring in.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man, so this is how I'm going to explain it as simply as I can. The podcast is going to bring in more listeners and viewers because folks like me, I don't do a lot of the live stream stuff. I drive 5 days a week on the road. All of my content I take in is in podcast form because I'm driving. I can put it in my headphones. I don't have to worry about watching. I don't do a lot of live stream stuff. So I'm a person that when have subscribed to somebody's content, I'm getting it through the podcast form.
Yep.
And that's the only, that's 99% of it's how it's coming from. So you put out a podcast right away, you're going to get a listener from me because that's how I take in my content. And I've seen a bunch of folks on your live stream have commented about they like the YouTube, the podcast is boring, and that's why having both is so important because you're touching people on both sides of that, from the audio and then the video.
Yeah, and yeah, that's always been kind of that back end goal for just continuing to expand on what we do and make ourselves more accessible. And if growth comes from it, cool. But like this has been doing good enough. We're continuing to grow. Like every week, every metric we have, like we check it right after the stream. As soon as it's over, we hit analytics and we check and look, and it's like, God damn, like every single time, there's some form of progression, and at least one, most of the time, two of like the primary metrics. I'm like, cool.
but I'm gonna side with right there. JP Harrell said, "Can't hurt, man."
Nope.
That is something neat.
Go ahead.
That's something neat about the live streams, though, is you're getting your analytics instantly. Where a podcast, it's still months down the road, and you're still, getting stuff off of it. It's interesting on that, so it's pretty cool. Y'all can get your stuff real quick.
Speaking of live streams, so I'm gonna throw it out here. You guys are more than welcome to decline or fake say yeah now. But on December 27th, we're gonna run a Bass and Brews end of the year bash, right? We're gonna run a big live stream on the 27th of December. We're gonna have past hosts.
Tuesday? No, it's a Wednesday, isn't it?
No, it's a Tuesday. Yep,
Is it Tuesday?
Yep, that's normally when we record. We changed for you guys because you're special.
Oh,
Thank you.
But we are going to run a huge thing on all the guests that we've had in the last year and a half, almost 2 years, and hosts, co-hosts, all of that. We're going to run a huge thing, and I'd like you guys to come on because we're going to talk about some silly subjects, but we'd love to have you guys on.
I'm down. Pinch poke you on your coat.
You.
I'll tell
I
Since
just
he's
want
in
to
the
make sure
chat-
everybody's clear. So anybody who transitions over to Bass and Brews, if they're not on, just realize it's because they did it on the stream, but they didn't follow up.
No, we'll be there Tuesday because I want to know why I thought it was Wednesday because I have Monday, Tuesday off of that week, Monday the 26th, and my work is calling it Christmas Day and then the day after Christmas.
Yep.
On my little holiday calendar, and I'm
Perfect.
like, it keeps screwing my brain.
So,
But
so the
we'll be
idea,
there.
like literally, we would love to have you guys on. We're gonna have a bunch of folks on. The idea for this one is we're gonna have a ton of our hosts and guests on, and we want to talk about our wins of 2022, our most embarrassing moments of 2022, and what our goals are for 2023 when it
Hell
comes to fishing and everything else. So, should be a fun time.
That'd be great. That's
That'd be fun.
It's what basically same thing we did end of last year and what I'd planned to do for literally it would be the next night, the last stream of 2022. Was that same deal, just recap of what we did for the year and then goals for 2023 because those are always fun. because then you can really get chat involved in. That was one of my favorite things about doing that last year was having chat involved and like hearing everybody's like, what was your highlight? That was it was highlight of the year, especially from like a learning perspective, and then what's your goals for next year. And it was kind of fun, like hearing from people and being able to kind of like hammer out like what their plans were. And
we're throwing this out there though, man. We're gonna we're heavy on TikTok. So we're throwing out to some companies and people on TikTok. We're throwing out to past guests, Alex Rudd, Greg Blanchard. We're going to try to get them on. We're going to throw it out to everybody
do it
to show up. So we'd love to have you guys on the show for that
And
one.
everybody is going to learn how to not run a live stream podcast.
There's gonna be 76 people in here.
No, I'm gonna hire Sean to actually run this one. That's actually what it was. I'm gonna hire Sean to run the live stream and Andrew to take care of my oh shit, I can't figure it out. My national
Nat
Your Nat Geos?
Yeah, exactly.
I got you. I know what page the titties are on.
I've got it memorized from the 90s.
That's another dollar. That's another dollar.
oh man.
I think Andrew thought that he was back on our show, not on his own.
Oh yeah.
Going through the Nat Geo, like, how do you know which page it's on? Because it's 2 pages in one.
See, only the first one's full.
Sean, what are you doing?
No, the trick
It's
is
okay. It's too sophisticated for my young kids to understand.
Okay, hold on.
Anyway, it's
Total side note.
way outside, way at left field.
Joe
here.
LaBarbara wants Drunkwood to run our Bass and Brews Bash. That is a no-go. I don't know if you guys have seen him lately. He's been showing buttocks and whatever he can to get views.
Jeez.
He's got to sell that wood. No, I mean, he's a woodworker. For real.
Yeah.
That was not a bad joke, I promise.
It's
It was
fine.
all in.
It's fine.
Y'all got dirty minds.
Yeah,
Paul,
no, that's very
hold
true.
on.
Very
Alex,
accurate.
Paul
quit going
wants
on
to say
side
that.
notes. Quit going on side notes, man. We've side noted ourselves into some kind of oblivion that I'm not even sure the satellites are in right now. I don't even know what's going on.
We just go with the flow. That's really all we're doing.
I'm trying to do what you guys do.
You gotta have a
Listen,
couple more White Claw surges for that one to get going.
yeah, right.
Tell you what, let me pose a question to everybody that's still here in the chat, that's still hanging around, and you too as well. Given that you understand how our things have changed a little bit for our format, but there's still the moderate amount of structure to it. What would you like to hear from us next week? Because we've already we have essentially 2 episodes left for the year, and you and I need to start thinking about what we're doing for episode 100. 10 weeks away.
It'll be an off week.
I would like to do something special for that, and I have an idea. We can make it special for you, the viewers. And I've got a bunch of companies I can reach out to that I intend to reach out to. We're going to put something together special, and that's all I'm going to say. Because that's the downside when you do giveaways and stuff, right? You get a bunch of people to show up just for where's my free shit? Where's my free shit? And you give it away, and then they're all gone. It's like, I don't want you people here. I want to reward the people that are always here, which is why we don't announce it. So that's the extent of what I'm going to say. But I want to hear your guys' idea for what we should do for next week. If we had to pick a specific topic to at least dedicate a portion of the show to, what would you want to hear from us 2 schmucks from the north?
A wicked
You
crazy
asking-
accent.
2 must-have table purchases before next season. Oh, tackle.
Ooh.
2 must-have tackle purchases before next
Yeah.
season. See, now that's a damn
a good
good
one.
topic idea.
Man, it's
Any
like
Beast Coast jigs
Joe's.
and a Depths 250.
It's like Joe's really good at this, or not. You know what I mean?
So I took a page out of your guys' book after the stream, and I posted on Facebook and YouTube, and I blocked him from being able to see it, and I said, let's do something different. Throw me a bunch of random questions. It can be silly or serious. I don't care, that I can ask Andrew and surprise him.
Yeah,
And
let's
the
hear it.
funniest comment that we got was, how many edibles do you have to take, Andrew, to work that 250 as good as you do?
Joke's on you. I don't eat edibles. Ha
That was fantastic.
That is gold
Gotta
there.
sip my drink at this point.
Hey, do y'all have to use different types of line or do anything different with line when your water temps are everything's in the 20s and 30s and
Also,
shit like that?
I mean, he's got a valid topic, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but on Bass and Brews, when you got to pee, you got to say, I got to tinkle, and then you bounce.
Okay. Have a fun tinkle.
You didn't say. You just okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
good luck.
So yes, and it to an extent, and I'll give you that. Really, the only time it really matters is when you're working jerkbaits and you want them to suspend, because buoyancy changes with different water temps, and I don't know exactly what that threshold is and how much it changes, but it definitively changes. So a lot of the time you can get away with just say fluorocarbon in warmer weather, and a suspending jerkbait will still do what it needs to suspend, even though fluorocarbon does sink to an extent. But in warmer water, I can still get a jerkbait to stay right where it's at. You throw that in really cold water, and the fluorocarbon really sinks, and it'll drag your jerkbait down. Like if it's a truly suspending jerkbait, it's gonna slowly sink. It might not be the case if you go really light line, like 8-pound, but even throwing 10-pound, I've found like I'm trying to work a Vision 110. That's a 4 to 6 foot diving jerkbait, and I'm working at 8 feet, and I have to go slow enough to get them to bite, but I'm going so slow that I end up in the bottom. If you go mono, it floats, so that doesn't help either. It's going to make it go up. What is it? Fluorocarbon coated monofilament.
Yeah.
And I forget what brands there that make it, but that's the only time where I use a very specific line, is very early and very late in the season, and only for my jerkbait.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like right now, we're out there, like all my spinning rods are braid to leader. My leader is always like 15 to 20 feet. And that's because I don't want to keep retying. Like if I break off my jigs over and over again, I want to retie my leader, until like I've broke off 20 times. But that you're fishing right now in that cold, we were dealing with it all this past Sunday. Your shit freezes. And the only way to get around that, especially like fishing a Demiki rig where I'm trying to drop it straight down, I'll tie on like 80 feet for my leader.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because now I've lost my sensitivity, but instead of respooling the whole damn thing, now I can just go straight fluorocarbon and get like that nice clean drop. Brand new braid is still fairly waxy, so that does shed water a little bit better, but it still kind of clings to it a little bit versus like absorbing as it would an older braid. So it's not quite as bad. But those are the only specific examples I can think of where like line.
For a line makes, but just like cold weather fishing tip for not having your guides ice up. Take like smelly jelly or Vaseline or anything like that, like chapstick, anything like that, and put it in your guides.
Yep. It works phenomenal. I've literally just bought a little, like a regular chapstick. Vaseline brand makes a chapstick. It's a huge stick though. So you can use that to like really smear it all over the guides. That works. More often than not though, I just grab smelly jelly, dip the finger in, spread it between the fingers, and just right around all the guides. And you have to redo it every once in a while because the line coming through will eventually wear it out.
Yep.
But just a little dab of smelly jelly does wonders, and all the water sheds off, and the ice doesn't build up. If a little bit builds off, it ends up just falling off anyway because it can't stick. It's between those two things, you're golden for fishing this time of the year up here.
Hey, on your jerk baits and this cold weather stuff, are you wanting them to just completely suspend, or do you want just a teeny bit of rise or maybe a teeny bit of sink, or you just want them to stay where the hell they at when they get them down
It
there?
depends on the bite, really, but most of the time I want it just to pretty much sit completely still as possible. Like a little rise, like a very slow rise or a very slow fall won't really hurt you much unless you're fishing in like 3 feet of water and it's going to rise up a tiny bit. It's just going to be a top water at that point.
Yeah, I would say if anything, I'd prefer it to be a very, very slow sink. And for years, and this is the thing I couldn't get myself past, was the people that I reached out to try and help me, other than like my closest friends, like trying to help me get confidence with my jerkbait, was everybody said it's got to be dead still, man. That thing's got to suspend. Like everything you do, you can't move it. It's got to suspend perfectly. And that fucked with my head so hard for years. And I'm talking years. We're going back to 2011 was the first time I ever got bit on a jerkbait, like working it like a suspended jerkbait. And I caught a 1.5 pound smallmouth. And I was like, okay, I think I make this work. And I ran to my second spot, 5 pound smallmouth in New Hampshire. And that stood as my PB until last winter.
Wow.
So when that's it. Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah.
And my second fish ever on a bait that, and until like 2 years ago, I still didn't have confidence in that because I always thought like that thing's gonna be dead still. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. I really, really, and I mean really friggin' slow, either up or down. I prefer it with it. If anything, I want it to sink a little bit, but I don't know. You really kind of can't go wrong with any of those as long as the rate of whatever it's doing is insanely slow for right now when the water's like 45 and colder.
I mean, this cold, you're waiting a long time in between twitches. So it's, if you can get it to sit as still as possible, to me, that's, yeah, with most likely it's either going to rise or sink, but I would like it to sink more than a rise. But if I could have a perfect jerkbait in this colder weather, I want it to sit completely still and not move.
Dude, Andrew killed that. His vocal way to describe winter fishing killed it with how slow and
Methodical.
That's me
deliberate
thinking. Just very slow.
it
Hey,
was.
how do you think the forward facing sonar is going to change that jerkbait game for you this year?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I really don't know how it's going to change anything for us other than, like, my thing is I'm just looking forward to how much faster we can break down water. Like, that's one of the things that we've done really well with over all these years because we worked fucking hard at it, man. Was trying to understand what the fish are doing and figure out that pattern regardless of the time of the year, the type of body of water, or what kind of fish we're going for, smallies or largies. Was just figuring it out. So that's the biggest thing that I'm going to see from this is being able to, like, doesn't matter what time of the year it is, body of water, fish, nothing. I don't care. You tell me what you want me to go for, either one of us, and we'll look at a depth chart of the map, best guess on water temp, and we can pick one of 3 to 5 spots where, like, any one of those spots should have a fish. And we go into a brand new lake blind, instead of fishing through every spot for an hour until we figure out which one of those is going to hold them. Nope, pull up, scan it. Are the fish even here? And then move on. But
Yep, can't catch fish where fish ain't.
Right. I don't know. Thinking beyond that, what do you got there, bud?
Came off the sweatshirt.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's going to help me with jerkbaits anymore. Like, I'm sure it will because I haven't used it for that, and I'm sure it's really going to help. But now I'm at a point where I finally have the confidence when I'm doing year-round with the jerkbait that it's like, I think it's going to be more about maybe helping break down color a little bit faster with certain things more than anything. Because, like, I know there's been plenty of times where I've been fishing shallow, and I've seen it. You know, okay, smallmouth or largemouth should be biting this. And you go through, like, 3 different things. Like, well, what the hell? They should have been any one of those 3 things. You go back to the thing, you're like, I am positive this is it. And, well, I'll change my color up. And, oh, okay, he got a little closer. Okay, it's a color thing. Well, let me try this color. And, like, 3rd color, yeah, sure shit. You throw it back in, and it's like flicking a switch on those fish. So now to be able to see that kind of reaction in deep water, like, that'll be helpful. I'm thinking much more broader than one specific technique now. But that's what I am wanting and hoping to get out of forward-facing sonar is just to expedite everything we've already been doing now. Make the most of our time.
I mean, that's a big upgrade to hit on that, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweet. You have no idea how many times people have messaged us and be like, what are your settings on your forward-facing sonar?
Yeah, but I mean, monetarily, that's a huge upgrade.
Yeah,
really is.
It's I can't pretend it's not a massive upgrade, and it wasn't cheap either. I mean, I got a great deal on it anyway, but there's a reason why I haven't had it all this time.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of money. Like, I had to wait and wait.
We've been getting by without it, so it's not.
Yeah, I can literally think of just a couple of instances where, like, that probably would have been the difference maker in us having a really good day. I don't know.
It's a weird thing that it seems like such a good tool. It's such an expensive tool, though. But I can understand the need for it, you know?
Right. I tell you what, number one thing I already touched upon is being able to break down water faster. Number 2 thing that I'm looking most forward to about it is what is still by far the hardest thing for us to do is to chase smallmouth midsummer when they're pelagic and they're just roaming around just
I mean, that was
holding to nothing, suspended over bait fish.
I caught my biggest smallmouth of the year in the summer. We're sitting over what, like 55 feet of water
Damn.
ish.
When you caught that five,
Five
and
and a quarter or something like that.
ended up being like 5.2. I remember mathing it out.
I don't know. Anyway, that was in the middle of the summer, and we weren't getting really bid on anything that day. Until later in the day when we figured out a good jig bite. But I just threw what did I throw? An Okashira?
Okashira with a 3-inch spark shad. No, 4-inch easy shiner.
Was it the Easy Shiner? Or was
Yeah.
it the Haze Dong? I don't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the easy shiner. It was a little bit bigger. Yeah, because I had the bluegill flash.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I tossed that out. I counted down 15, 20 seconds, and I just started reeling just slow. Just super
painfully
slow.
Do you like the Okashira with the little blade on it, or do you just fish the regular Okashira?
Nope, one with the screw head. That
I
thing is
cannot.
dynamite.
I catch 2 or 3 fish on that little bladed one, and they tear the blade all up, and it doesn't work right anymore.
No,
I quit buying
and
them.
Yeah,
There's gotta be a way
There's
you
like
can
a
get around
little, like, almost bobber stop on it.
Yeah,
That,
Yeah.
like, slips.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
it breaks, it
allows
cracks.
the blade
Yeah,
to
it
come
tears
down.
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and then the blade ends up against the nose of your lure, your bait, and then it's not spinning. You're coming through the water like ain't got no damn
That's-
sense.
I
found
bet you there's
another-
a workaround for that.
I found, that one I sent you.
Mm.
Yeah, that'll work. Wait, what?
What happened?
Sean Miller, you know you can hook up via Bluetooth on those HDS Live 12s and 16s and watch TV on them while using sonar.
What?
What?
No.
All right.
Again, this is why you guys should do a podcast. You can set it up, and people can watch you guys.
Joe, I
Literally,
eat
why-
PB&J and ramen anyways.
Oh, here you go. There you go. Joe just commented on that for you right there. You have to have some super glue to that rubber stopper in the winter when you take days off.
This
Fair
Joe guy knows what he's talking about sometimes.
I
tell you
feel like
what.
Thing or two.
this Joe guy kind of knows it. I haven't figured it out. I've never talked to him. I've heard he's been on my show a bunch, but I've never talked to him.
I forgot what I was saying because of that.
Reading questions, answers, comments, whatever you call them.
A lot of stuff. Oh, I do like this. See, so like
Ooh, the hair jig. Yes.
39 to 40 degree water through the hair jig, jerkbait, and soaked to Ned, but nobody was interested. And then the wind made it miserable to be out in the water.
Then
I don't
then
see a
it
blade
starts
bait.
snowing.
I don't see a blade bait in that.
No.
So, and I guess the other thing, how deep were you fishing? Because that, like, even this late in the year, if you're fishing a smaller kettle pond, there's been plenty of days where like I can't get them to eat a damn thing off the bottom, even though it's average depth of 8 feet. We got to throw a jerkbait over their head and soak the damn thing. I don't know. They be fickle like that at times. Oh crap! You guys answered this for Cam, but we didn't even do that. The only thing I talked about was the soft plastics. What do you use for terminal tackle storage, and what box do you use for all your other stuff? How do you store? So store the soft plastics. Do you have that? Oh, I do. Knock that over, Cam. 6-quart totes, Target, $3.89 on sale. Real nice. Ricky Bobby. Those things are great. I throw all my soft plastics in those, and then for terminal tackle, I just use the Plano 3700. But I've looked at those Bass Mafia ones. I was tempted, but I still like the Plano 3700. I just make sure I get the one with the the rubber seal around the edge. Make sure you keep all the water out. The Plano edges look nice. I don't know. I don't get too fancy because I'm always in there making an absolute disaster of everything anyway. So, like to have something like Bass Mafia where it's like super organized, I would just make a mess out of it anyway. I'd probably just throw all my shit in my day box.
Hey, guess what? These here are trash.
The way it goes.
They are trash.
Terminal tackle is one of those hard things to organize though, because if you get a lot of weights in there, it bubbles up the top of that. If you're not laying your stuff flat, it'll bubble up if it's vertical, and then all your hooks end up getting intermingled with everything. It drives me insane because I like that stuff to be organized. I have not found a great way to keep it all together into one to make it work. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I need to go watch some YouTube videos this
Joe's
week on
got a
people
good
doing
comment when it comes to terminal. He's talking about the Calicoast battle box.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'd love to show it, but right now it's holding my laptop, which is maybe a sign for it. That's a solid. No. I mean, so I ran that box in the kayak for 3 years. I ran the Calicoast battle box for 3 years in my kayak. It's a really solid box. What I think it lacks in is like expanding. It's a huge box. It's the size of roughly 3,700. Like the width of it. It takes up a shit ton of space. Sorry. Add $1 to the jar. But it adds up a bunch of space depending on where you're at. If you're in a boat, obviously that's not a problem. But if you're in a kayak, that is. But why I like the Plano one better is that they have the boxes that you can kind of like set up your rigs ahead of time. Like you can put all your Ned rigs in a couple boxes. If you know you're not going to fish the Ned rigs, you can pull those out, set them aside, and put what you need into that terminal box. Calicoast is, again, it is a great box. It's super watertight. Their tube system is great. It does click around a lot, and it's kind of hard to find their product. So kind of all of those, if that all made sense.
Yep. No, I followed.
Yeah.
I might look into something like that over the winter. I do need, like, that's about the only good thing about winter is it finally gives me a chance to really go through my boat and reorganize and to understand how much I have of what. Because I will inevitably, as we go through different seasons, we go from chasing smallmouth to largemouth to deep glacial lakes to kettle ponds. Like, there will be like Shaw's bags, grocery store bags full of just like random soft plastics. And before I know it, I've got like, 4 giant boxes and like 6 of those Shaw's bags filled with just random crap, all just like sitting in the corner of my room.
So when you go to the fair and you go to get like the big bag of kettle corn and it's like that big, just big
Long,
bag,
yeah.
but there's no zip on the top. They twist it and then they put a little tie on there.
Yeah.
So he had like, probably still have it, that big bag of like high tech looking swim baits. They're mint, but like every time you pull the bag out, you're like, take one of these.
What was that? That was Lake Champlain lures, and they just disappeared off the internet one day, and I can't remember how many years ago it was I was buying from them, but I was buying the Kitex and they were great, and then someone was like, "Dude, you should buy from Lake Champlain lures. They're great." And I was like, "Oh wow." This is literally the same thing as a Kitech, but not quite the same like plastic formulation, but the colors and the size, everything else was identical, and like even the color names were identical. And then one day their website just disappeared, and it came back after a short while, and they're like, "Hey, sorry about that. We're in the middle of rebuilding, and we'll be back soon." And they never came back, so I'm pretty sure they got like a really bad cease and desist, and probably some other really bad stuff straight from Kitech, because I mean like.
They were the same thing.
And I mean, even the colored names, like that green and orange laminate they call it Pro Staff, they were calling it Pro Staff. Like it was 100% like copy paste. We're just going to change the logo.
They were calling it Pro Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Pro Gauntlet.
Hey, whatever works, make it while we can and be done with it when we have to be done.
Right. That bag, do you still have that?
I do.
It's in the garage.
Yep. It's funny? I can see it. I got another smaller bag of 2.8 knockoffs that are up there. They're like that male perch pattern where it's like that half chartreuse, half yellow. And I forget why the hell I even bought it, but at one point, like 8 years ago, I was like, yeah, that's a great color. It was only like 20 pieces in that bag, and I still haven't used them all. It's not a great color. In case you were wondering, I'm sure there might be a narrow window where that male perch color works really well, but I haven't figured it out yet. There's plenty of other colors that work better in place of that. What are you reading now? Oh, we got another $1 for the swear jar.
I said shoot.
Yeah, Joe said it perfectly. Winter tackle reset, most fun time of the year besides opening day in New York. I even bought 8 more pegboards because now I'm like, we've expanded so much. I mean, especially
it's becoming the beginning of the year. We're gonna have to do a tackle order again.
Yeah, well, and that was because our sponsorship was striking. We got all this stuff, and it was like,
There's so much.
where do we put it?
Oh,
And we bought like a bunch of totes and stuff, and it's
we
like this doesn't work.
We literally bought like, I don't know how. We just went to Harbor Freight like discount store and we bought these. Like each one is filled.
Oh my god.
Like, and there's I don't know just right here.
Strike King was like, listen, we're
7, 8, 9, 10,
gonna
11,
sponsor
12,
these guys.
13.
It's gonna be amazing. And then Andrew shows up with Harbor Freight crap looking totes. Like, look at these awesome baits.
These are cute. They're little baskets.
We were going through trying to figure out like how to store all this, and I realized I was like, "Oh, holy shit, that's a lot of stuff." Like, okay, well, how many bins do we need? Like, we need like 40. There's just like $3 a bin. That adds up real fast.
Y'all went
Like,
and
this
bought
ain't
all
gonna
the Y'all went and bought all the knick-knack baskets out of Hobby Lobby.
We pretty much did.
And his favorite, Strike King overtime.
Listen, next sponsorship for you boys is Hobby Lobby, and you guys will be set for life.
No, I need Harbor Freight. I need like 6 more grinders. Angle grinders.
Like
Look,
such
man,
an
you got to be
awesome-
part of their awards program. I just started. I've been to local Harbor Freight here about 18 times in the last 2 weeks, and I have spent some money. And their stuff's cheap, but I have spent some money.
When was the
there.
last time you went to a Dollar General?
It's
All
been
you
a
gotta do is
while.
drive down one street and
Never.
pass 3.
I've never been to one.
God
Yeah,
bless.
yeah.
Dude, that's just a joke between us. Like, we were driving
Yeah, they're
We're
all
driving
over the
up-
place.
to the St. Lawrence River, and we were on a back road
Oh my
that
God.
literally, not exaggerating, 100 miles through backwoods, middle of
Through Amishville. From Utica, we cut the corner. So from Utica to New York, you can either just drive straight west on, I forget what highway that is. It might still be 90. And then you turn whatever there's another highway. It's just straight friggin' west to north. And you make that last trek and it dumps you out really close to like the mouth of the St. Lawrence River and like Shamo Bay and everything. And we're looking at the map. We're like, that's a lot of highway miles. There's literally a back road that cuts that from that whole corner, like makes these perfect triangle. And I was like, let's just go that way. It's like 30 or 40 less miles. And it was,
there was no speed limit. There was a minimum speed limit of 35.
Oh yeah.
so we were
Mash
doing
it.
70 naturally, towing the boat down back roads, passing like, horse and buggies and shit. And we're just like,
Literally.
wow, we're going to save so much time.
Yeah, they came up over that hill, and it was just like a 90-degree turn. We're like going 70.
Oh,
Oh,
shit, that's not fun.
But anyway, there was just a random ass Dollar General in the middle of
Just
freaking
one?
nowhere.
Just the one. But in all fairness,
Oh.
it was in Amish country.
So
it's one too many.
No. So here's the thing: from where I'm at in South Jersey, for me to get to my local grocery store, I pass through four of these these BS Dollar Generals. So I got to go through 4 to get to like a normal grocery store. I hate Dollar Generals, to be honest. I get it,
Got the
folks.
best
Got to use
deals on
them.
candy.
Sure.
Best deals
Yeah.
on candy.
Yeah.
I can't
Candy
tell.
there? I like candy.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
you buy that $4 candy at the Target. That thing's like 50 cents there. I mean, 2 and 5 pound bags for like $2. Great.
Dude, that's where you go for like the Magnum box size, like Magnum size box of the Mike and Ike's.
Yes.
I don't know if I like Mike and Ike. So.
Oh,
You
wait.
can't be
Hold on.
friends.
Hold on.
Andrew,
You gotta
shut
get,
your mouth.
No,
You're not talking about
I'm not
Mike and
going
Ike's like
to
that.
because I don't know. Oh, there's Red Bulls there too. Ooh, good.
But
But
see,
Mike and Ike's are the best candy ever created. You can shush it.
Okay, maybe not best, but they're certainly like top 5. Anybody's like any sane person's list, they're top 5.
I don't like the licorice. Is that the same thing?
That's not Mike and Ike's.
Well, those are like
yes, it
jujubes
is
or
the
whatever.
original ones.
Those are gross.
No, Mike and Ike's never had that. That was Good and Plenty, is what
Oh.
you're thinking of.
Oh
Same
yeah,
thing.
getting plenty
Yes.
of them in the trash.
Yeah, exactly. You put a good amount of that plenty into the trash while you effed around with Mike and Ike.
Yes, we. Wait, who? Oh, him. Yes. I don't know. Something happened.
What happened?
Mike and Ike's are good. By the way, National Geographic, page 34.
October 1989 issue.
33 to 35. What the hell?
The page is.
They skipped the even numbers. Weird.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's a good page.
Squarebo, right?
No.
Oh, look at that. Drink. Every time we're out here, we're grabbing baits and stuff where we get hooked, it's you drink. That's our drinking game.
Tried to be funny, got a chat.
I don't have any hooks out right now, so I don't have a drink.
I've got a bunch of 110s back there on that table. Just come over here and just like drop it on your hand. I guarantee you, if I dropped it from right here into your hand, you would probably it would go past the barb.
Mm-hmm.
That's only like a 4-inch drop.
Probably. My little bitch hands.
That's another $1.
Yep.
You got them little Burger King hands.
Kids gonna be able to go to college after this show at this rate. God damn.
Community college.
God, we don't have
Yeah, college is college. Oh damn. All right, tell you what. I think it's actually a good time for us to wrap it up anyway. It's already 9:40, and I've got a lot of editing ahead of me for tonight at any rate. So before I hand it over to you guys to sign off on your end, for everybody that's still here, thank you very much. As always, greatly appreciate you hanging around, listening to us, talking to us in the chat, throwing out questions and suggestions. I did see all the suggestions for video ideas for next week, so thank you very much for that. A couple of them are pretty much already in line with what we have planned for the very last episode of the year. And then it'll probably be kind of like the same thing we did last year. Like last one of the year will be like a recap of the year, and I want to hear from you guys, the viewers, as well. And then the first week of the new year, we'll talk about goals for 2023. Because every year, like at least for myself, I specifically sit down and think of goals for what I want to accomplish for the year. And I guess the complexity of them just continues to change every single year. And this year, I like pulled it way in. And a lot of that was because of the last job I was at that like I just couldn't even think about overly complicated. So literally our whole goal, like pretty much the only goal this year was twofold, but the big one was like, let's catch an 8-pound largemouth. Spoiler alert, hasn't happened yet. There's still a couple weeks left, so fingers crossed, but but then really like I'm in a much better mindset now than it was last year. So I've already been thinking about my goals for next year. So that'll be fun to discuss. But again, thank you for all the suggestions for next week. We'll be sure to grab at least a couple of those and talk about that then. If you haven't dropped a like on the stream yet, please do so before you go. Helps when you know. Anybody that watches this after the fact, leave a comment as well. Let us know what you thought. You can leave a comment like even at that point too. It doesn't have to be during the live stream. Hell, you can put it Wednesday at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, for a suggestion for that night's show, and I'll still see it. So it doesn't matter. There's no time frame on this. At any point you want to throw in your 2 cents on something, by all means, have at it. But that's that for that. So Alex and Paul, go ahead and talk about everywhere you guys are again. Give them the 2-minute rundown again on everything, and then we'll wrap it up.
Plug yourself.
Sure. So honestly, you guys should really give the comment you should give is that these boys should go to podcasting right now with this episode. That's the comment I want to see. No, but anyways, you guys can find us for the Bass and Brews Fishing Podcast. You guys can find us on all podcast platforms. If you guys want to see us visually, because why wouldn't you? You're going to find us on the Swamp Rat Fishing YouTube channel or on Spotify. We also dual upload video there. So that's where we're at. We're also on TikTok, Instagram, all that other BS, but we're there. Paul?
And Alex primarily runs most of our Bass and Brew stuff. Every now and again, I'll get on the TikTok and we'll post something pretty stupid.
Something fresh.
Usually he tried to make some kind of serious post, and I come out with something very not serious and pick on him. But you can find me on everything under Jabberhammer. I think everything's under that now.
No,
if not, Paul
no,
Hills,
no, stop. We're not promoting ourselves.
P-A-U-L-S.
Get out of here.
You can
We're
find me
promoting the
there,
show.
and it is the most useless, crappy, dumb shizzle that you'll see on the internet that I do. And it's all over the place, but it's only 7 seconds of your life you'll never get back, and apparently some people like it. Kind of like my wife.
Fantastic.
Well, if she ever
7
wants to reach
seconds?
8, let me know.
She's not old enough, Andrew.
Wait, what?
She's not over 80.
Oh, give me a well,
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate
always
you.
a
for having us.
blast.
It's
It
awesome.
was absolute blast.
Thanks, boy.
Now it's up to you. Do your thing.
All right. Well,
One shot.
we will see you guys next week, like every week, at Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Western on
Pacific.
YouTube Pacific Western.
Screwed him up. Sorry. YouTube
At
dots.
youtube.com/603bass. We will see you guys next week.
Everyone have a wonderful night.
Hey-o.